Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Drama Free Friday. Welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Jump on in, say hello, and welcome. So in case you don't know who I am, I'm Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com, and you're here for Drama Free Friday. Hello, Beth. Hi, Kia. Hi, Jillian. I see Races in the house. So, welcome, everybody. It is, hey, Lori. And Gail. Oh, Gail's multitasking. Gotcha. Hey, Vicki and Lorraine and Cindy. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us for a special Drama Free Friday. Aunt Beck and Carla. Hello, Carla. Hey, Dorothy. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun chat today. Fun day today. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I know I am. Absolutely. Hello, Barbara. So we're just going to give everybody a couple minutes to just sort of get in, find their spots. If you need, if you need something to drink, go grab it real quick. There's Clausman is in the house. Cheshire Dar. So yeah, it's going to be fun today. So while we're kind of waiting, we'll just chat for a minute. So let's see, tomorrow is the VIP class. So you guys that are VIP members at How to Get Creative, check your email. That link will be in the email, and the email will be going out later today. And hey, Scotty. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we can help pass the time for you. That's great. And let's see, what else? It is finally springtime here in the Midwest. We finally have, we went from super, super cold to hot and humid. So somewhere in there spring happened, but I'm not sure where. Hi, Chris. Hi, Skinny Cat. And I see Race is putting some stuff in the chat, so that's great. So yes, in case you didn't know, we're going to have a special guest today from the Gelli Arts company. So she'll be coming on here in just a couple minutes. We're going to just chat for a minute first. Hi, Beth and Charlene. So nice to have you guys here. Thanks for joining us. So the last time I streamed, it was a couple weeks ago. I did kind of an in-between our regular streams. An in-between stream. You know what I'm saying. And because the Gelli Arts company had sent me the 9x12 plate, and they'd sent it to me a number of weeks ago, but I hadn't had time to play with it. So, that's right, Annette. Hi, Marion. Hi, Regina. And Kimberly. So, a couple weeks ago or so, we got out the plate, and we just started playing with it. This was the 9x12. This is one of the new plates. And so I thought I would show you just the results of that. Which, by the way, did you know that there's always, I will say almost always, probably 90% of the time, there is a blog post that I write that goes with every one of the streams that we do. And that's over at HowToGetCreative.com. If you just go over there, when you put that address in, you'll see all these little pretty colorful pictures down about halfway down the page, and those are all the blog posts. And I almost always write a blog post that goes with whatever I've streamed. So you can go over there, and actually you'll see the link in the description box below the video here, and that will just click you right on over there. But you'll see a whole blog post and some up-close pictures, close-up. How about close-up pictures of what we did? So let's see. Hey, Linda McAllister. Hi, Tammy. We're just getting started. Ian. Hi, Cheryl. Bratty Patty. And hey, Josie. Hi, Dawn. And anybody else that I happen to miss, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's take a look at what we did the last time when we were playing with that new 9x12 plate. So here are some of the prints just to show you, and they're a little bit curled because I haven't, you know, totally straightened them out. So let me turn them this way. So this one I think was a cleanup print. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, some of the hands didn't come out exactly the way that I anticipated, so I just let them have crossed fingers. I thought that was fun. This is done on copy paper. So once the prints were done, then I embellished them with paint pens. And this is a Liquitex paint pen, one of those big ones that has a big square tip on it. And I just added, it needed something, so I added some little made up flowers. And just some more prints here and there. I like having a variety of prints to do things with. Here's one that I wasn't so crazy about the way that the print came out, so I just started doodling on it. And I only got that far before I got tired of it, but I'll do more later. This one I loved. That was a single pull. A lot of them are layered prints. This one was a single pull, which I absolutely loved. Hello, Paul. And this one I thought turned out really nicely. This was using the masks from some of the Dilutions stencils. And then I used another one of those Liquitex markers that has the big fat tip. I think it's maybe 50 millimeters. And then just did some extra marks. Oh, that's Joan. Okay. Hi, Joan. This was another print that I just was cleaning off the plate, and kind of the same thing with this one. So those were just some of the prints that we did. And here's another one. This one was also using the metallic paint and kind of cleaning things up off the plate. I love having things that are just a variety of color and some that are kind of subtle. Most of this was done with Dilutions paints also. And so a lot of them are very subtle, and then sometimes I just go crazy and do something different. This was one of the pieces of deli wrap. Let's see if I can, I don't know whether you can see it or not. There's the deli wrap under there that was just cleaning the plate off. And then when I actually finished the session and I was cleaning, there was still paint on the plate and it wasn't coming off very easily. And so I just took packing tape. Let's see if you can see. See the shiny? That's packing tape. And I just laid it on the plate and then pulled, and it took all the paint off. Well, there was still some stickiness on the tape. So I just stuck it down on top of this deli print. So it has kind of an interesting appearance. I don't know what I'll do with it, but it doesn't matter because it's fun. Hi, Ina. And then I had one of the pieces of big piece of paper that I was cleaning off around the edges of the 8.5 by 11. And so I just cut it up and I put tapes on the back, and I just made it into some colorful tapes that I can use for whatever I want to use them for. But, you know, that was just a piece of junk. That was just junk. It wasn't going to be used for anything. But by putting some double-sided tape on the back, you know, even though it was a piece of junk paper, and it had just a whole variety of bits and pieces of paints on it, it worked great. So you can make your own tapes that way. Just put double-sided tape on the back. This is paper-backed tape, and so all I have to do is just get a hold of the paper backing and pull it off, and then I've got, you know, this has turned that junk paper into a tape, which is cool. So from that, I took the two prints that I like the best, you know, because on that day, it's like choosing your favorite children. You know, on that day, I picked the ones I like the best on that day. And I like to cover my notebooks that I journal in and so forth. And so that's what I did. So this is just a blank notebook that I started writing in. And so this is one of the prints. And then I wrapped the edge with a piece of that tape, which turned out really well. And then I put another print on the back. So this was another print from that same printing session. And then again, I wrapped the edge, and I even pieced it because I didn't have enough tape, so it's pieced right here. And then where this print on the front wrapped to the back, I put another piece of that tape, junk paper. You can see it right here, between the two. So it, you know, it was a lot of fun. And because I used pretty much the same colors of paint, everything goes together, even if the prints are different from each other. And yeah, so that was cool. So that is what we did. And a lot of these are embellished with paint pens, so you can probably see that at a distance a little bit better, that I picked up some of the patterns just using various paint pens, and just, you know, it's just a matter of playing. Just see what you like. Hey, Lisa. I know those hands are great, aren't they? They are just the perfect thing. So let's see what else. There could be another stream coming up in between this one and the next regular Drama Free Friday stream, because look what arrived in the mail. Yeah, look what arrived this week. Seth Apter's paints and the baked textures. So I'm feeling like we're going to have to play with these, don't you think? So a little baked texture in the house, some paint colors, some new paint colors. And I have never used this paint. This particular paint is from Paper Artsy. I've never used that paint before, so I'm feeling like that could happen. I can't promise, but it could happen. And so everybody needs to just, you know, stay tuned for news. Follow me on social media. All those links are in the description box below the video also. So you'll find all those links, and you can follow me on social media, because we always send that information out over social media. So that could be fun, don't you think? And let's see what else. Let me check my notes. Yep, so that could be happening. And so today, we are going to chat with Luann Gleason from the Gelli Arts company. And I just want you to know that I personally am a big fan of Gelli Arts. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that I'm a fan, I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek into the fandom that I have going on. Okay, this is the 4-inch round plate. This is the 6-inch round plate. I love using the round plates when I do fabric, when I print on fabric. This is the 6-inch square plate. All of them have been well loved, by the way. All of them. This is the 8-inch round plate. They're all loved, and they're all used. And this one is the one I started with, which is the 8x10. And you can see it has, it's quite colorful now. This was the brand new one we played with the last time. This is the 9x12, which has the grid in it. That's really, really fun. You know, it's like, did I need all of those plates? Well, of course I did. Of course I did. And then I have this cute little box full of little plates, and those are the little shaped Gelli Arts Gelli plates. So they come with 3 on a they're packaged 3 at a time. And so I have a hexagon and a square and a rectangle and a triangle and a tinier circle. You can never have too many circles or too many circular sizes of circular plates. I'm telling you, and an oval. So I just keep them in a pencil box because it's easier for me to keep track of them. So I have that. And then I have the Gelli Plate Printing book, which is a really, really nice resource. And there's a link to this. You can get it on Amazon. There's a link to this in the description box below the video too. Okay, so just to give you show you one of the ways that I use. Tammy says, "Don't feel bad, Barbara. I'm right there with you." I'm not feeling bad. I'm feeling very good about it. So I just want to show you a couple of quick things, and then we're going to bring Luann on with us. One of the things I love to print on is deli paper or deli wrap or parchment paper, you know, something that is a translucent type paper. And one of the ways that I love to use that is in backgrounds for art journal pages. So this, I've shown this before, but I wanted to show it one more time. Everything in the background in this page is all the Gelli Plate printed deli wrap or translucent type paper. Works great for rice paper as well. So there's that one. So the background is all collaged with pieces of printed paper. This is another one on this side with this old guy that I've used his image a number of times. It's an old headshot. I don't have any idea who this guy is, but this is the same thing. So it's the collage background of the printed deli type paper. And this is another one, same technique here. So, I mean, the entire thing is the same technique. The background is the same technique using the various printed deli papers, and then the lady is done the same way using an ink dropper and acrylic ink. So anyway, I wanted to show you those so that you could see, you know, just a couple of things that I had done using some of the papers. You know, I show you the papers, or sometimes I'll do a printing session live, and then I do all these papers, and then it's like I forget to show you what I do with them, you know. So thought I would show you that. And let's see, do we have any questions? Hey, Shelly. I love those deli paper prints too. I certainly do. Any questions before we get started? Yes, the rice paper is great. Yeah, it's perfect. Love it. I love the rice paper. It's different than deli paper. It's different than parchment paper. It's really neat. You can also do napkin, take a paper napkin, like the decorative paper napkins, and you can peel those apart, and you can use those delicate underlayers to print on those as well. I haven't done that a lot. I've watched other people do it. It's pretty delicate, but you can get some really nice stuff. Marion says she admits that she jumped the gun and she bought that 9x12 plate. You can't have too many jelly plates. All right, so if I make the transition correctly here, we're gonna bring Luann into our stream today. So if you have questions, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to introduce Luann and bring her on with us, and then if you have questions, if you'll put them in caps, we're going to try to get to the questions, but if you can wait closer to the end to ask your questions, that would even be more perfect, if there is such a thing, because I have several questions for her, and she has lots of things to show us, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hello, Patty. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Luann Gleason. She is one of the co-founders, along with Joan Bess, for the Gelli Arts company, And then we're just going to let her talk to us and tell us all about Gelli Arts and Gelli Plates and so forth and so on. So everybody cross your fingers that I do this right, okay? Ta-da! Okay. And this is Luann. Hello, Luann.
Hi, everybody.
And this is everybody. This is the world. We have people from all over the world here today. We have people from the Netherlands and Canada, and
Wow.
usually we have people from the Czech Republic. I don't know if we do today. Norway, Ireland. I mean, we'll have people from all over everywhere. So and of course the United States, and we get to chat with people all over the world. It's one of my very favorite things about Drama Free Friday. Which, by the way, people, I forgot to tell you, Drama Free Friday means we just leave all that drama elsewhere. And what we do in here is we just pretend like the world is perfect. It's all unicorn and rainbows, people. And on Drama Free Friday, that's what it is. And we just have fun and we just enjoy it. And we just laugh and take a break from the rest of the world. So, yeah, welcome to Drama Free Friday. And welcome, Luann. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. It's so nice of you. I am hearing a little, oh, good. Barb, I just want to thank you for inviting me to join you on Drama Free Friday.
Oh.
I'm happy to be here. It's great.
It is my pleasure. It is totally my pleasure. So, what I'd like to ask you to start with is tell us a little bit about you and how Gelli Arts got started and about gel printing plates. I'm just going to let you just talk.
Oh, geez. Okay, I can talk for a while, so I don't know. You might want to stop me. But Joan and I started at Gelli Arts back in 2010. And it all started because I have actually worked with Joan's husband, John, and he shared with me that Joan had he thought a great idea for a product. And my background is consumer products marketing. So he asked me if I would stop over and take a look at the idea and provide my input. So Joan and I set a date. I went over, and lo and behold, she had made a big cake pan of Jell-O, and she had it in the refrigerator. And she pulled it out. She plopped it on her counter. I was just amazed, wondering what is she going to do with that thing. And she started printing on it. So she had it on the counter. She started applying paint and then using combs to make designs, and then putting paper down and pulling prints. And honestly, I was just amazed from the beginning. I just
so let me understand. Yeah, so let me understand that the whole thing began with a big plate of Jell-O.
It did, believe it or not. Isn't that amazing?
That is cool.
I know, it's really hard. It doesn't seem that long ago, although we've come so far in the last 8 years that in some ways it was a long time. But way back, I remember that afternoon, and I'm sure Joan does too, because we sat there and we probably played for about 3 hours, and Joan just made print after print after print, and I kept going, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And then she let me try it. And when she let me try it, and I made a print that I even thought, I remember the first pull. I created a print and I said, oh my God, maybe even I could do this. Maybe I could be an artist. It was just this incredible feeling that afternoon that we both had.
What kind of paper were you printing on? Do you remember?
Joan has like every art material in her studio. And so she just, I don't think it was anything special.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Okay. We do a lot of printing here just on plain old copy paper. And so our two favorite go-to papers are copy paper, and then we use a lot of just cardstock, plain old cardstock. And that day, my guess is she had both of those, because I don't remember a lot of curling papers. So we probably were using cardstock. And she produced all these prints in all these beautiful colors. And it was just such an amazing afternoon. that after, at the end of it, I said, and Joan's whole idea was, isn't this amazing, printing on gelatin? She had done it for years and loved it. And her idea was, couldn't we find a way to make a surface that was just like this, only it would be durable and reusable? And so we had so much fun that afternoon. And I, being a marketer, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's such a pain to make a plate of Jell-O and stick it in your refrigerator and let it sit there for a couple of weeks, and then it's perishable. So I'm thinking, oh my God, if we could create a durable and reusable one, it would solve a lot of problems. And if people felt the same way I did about printing on Jell-O, then maybe we had a product that would be that people would love.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So that's how it all started.
And so it started with an afternoon of printing, and then it started with a what if, and then it went from there. So
it did. And from there, let me say this, from there, it took us about a year to get to the market. So we ended up with some prototypes. We shared them with different groups of artists. We shared them with some graphic designers, with some scrapbookers, with some fine artists, with a variety, anybody that we could, get a hold of. We shared this product with, and the universal response was they loved it. And people would say, "Oh my God, when can I buy this?" And as a marketer and having done many focus groups in my days, I had never seen such an overwhelmingly positive response to a product. And so that was it. When we started getting all this positive response and it reinforced how we felt about it, we thought, oh God, we have to give this a go.
And so one of my favorite things about it is that what you just said, that it crossed all different genres of interest. That's probably not the right phrasing, but you know what I mean.
No.
So it goes from crafter to fine art to fabric to pretty much children. You know, kids can do it.
Well, the children kind of came a little bit later, but I'll tell you how we discovered that. And that was a few years down the pike when we started. We try to talk to our customers as much as possible. And we do some surveys. And we found that our customer base, they were printing with their children and with their grandchildren. And they were loving sharing these creative moments with their children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
And so we, of course, then said, oh, wow, this is so fun that even kids are doing it. And which sort of led us down the pike of focusing on teachers, art educators. And today we sell lots and lots of Gelli plates to teachers all over the world.
Oh, that is so great. That is so great. That makes me just feel so good that, that art is still going to go out there into the world in the school system. And I just think that's so important. I'm so glad to hear that. Really glad.
We love that as well. And one of the things that we've done from day one is we field the majority of our workshops every year that we sign up or that we find workshop teachers to do for us are through the NAEA, the National Art Educators Association. Okay. And every year, this is probably our 7th year now that we're doing workshops in 30 to 40 states around the country, teaching teachers all about Gelli printing. And,
that's great.
And therefore, it gets into the classroom, and it's just super cool.
So, tell me about, was Gelli Arts, because I know that there are various gel printing plates in the marketplace. So can you tell us, like, tell me all the good stuff. That's what I want to know. I want to know all the good stuff and what makes things, what makes Gelli Arts different. That's what I want to know. And I know the audience wants to know that.
Okay. First of all, let me say this. There are so many good things about Gelli Arts. It's just been a wonderful 8 years. But let me just say, we're really proud that Joan and I invented this Gelli Arts printing plate. So back in 2011, when we introduced the 6x6 and the 8x10, we started with 2 sizes. And that was the first reusable, durable gel printing plate marketed. So we're so proud that we did that. And then since then, we work really hard to continue innovating in the category and growing the printing category. I think in the back of our heads, it's always like, let's get everybody printing. It's so fun and cool. And so today, so we started with 2 sizes. Today, we have, depending on how you count, probably about 12 shapes and sizes.
Wow.
And then we have all kinds of new things. So we have paints and stencils and cones and, you know, what am I missing?
Now,
you know, we got a lot of new things.
Yeah, and I even have a list, so we're going to talk about the list here in a second. But I understand just from you and I chatting the other day that the Gelli Arts plate is produced here in the United States, right?
It is.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's cool that it's always nice when you have companies that are able to do that. And so I didn't know that about Gelli Arts, so I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, we're really proud to do that.
Yeah.
We're really proud about that.
And your whole operation is in, like, pretty much in one geographical area, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So
our office is here in Philadelphia, and we have a fulfillment house not that far away. And then production is within a couple hours of this office as well. So we keep everything, it's all very close, and
if you need to go bang on somebody's desk, there's a place you can go to do it, you know, which is that's cool.
It's a very happy, good group, but
that's great.
I don't have to bang on heads too often.
That's great.
And it's also fun to get to the production facility and meet the people and talk to them about the product, and I feel there are true partners in this. So it's been a great journey.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so what I want to know is, do the plates ever wear out?
Oh, that is a really good question. Well, as far as I know, no.
Okay. So I guess what I'm wanting to know is, with normal use, they should last the user for a really long time.
That's right. That's right. For a really long time.
So is it possible, because I'm sure you've done lots of testing, is it possible to wreck one? Like, is there something you can use on them that you shouldn't use and you wreck them? Well,
there are a few things. One that comes to mind is a coated paper like photo paper. You don't want to use that. That coating will stick to the plate and it will ruin the plate.
Okay, so it will actually physically stick on the plate and that's it. You're not getting it off.
That's right.
That's why the plate has 2 sides. So if you screw up one side, you can flip it over and you might be able to not repeat that mistake, right?
Okay, so I have to tell you about the 2 sides thing.
Yeah.
When we were working on this product and trying to figure it out, we did not design it to have 2 sides. But beautifully, when it came out of production, it ended up with 2 printing sides, which we thought, wow, that's even cooler.
Yeah.
So yes, if one side is ruined, you can flip it over and you can continue printing on the other.
Or if I have seen sometimes, and this has happened to me, I probably shouldn't admit this because I try to keep my stuff relatively clean. Sometimes I'll get just too much crud on the one side and I don't want to take the time to clean it.
Right.
So I just flip it over and go, I'll clean that later, you know? So, Okay, so basically coated paper, like photo paper, is a no-no.
Right.
Is there anything else? No-no. Anything else that you shouldn't do?
I'm trying to think of what, obviously you don't want to scratch it. So you don't want to put any really sharp materials against it or gouge it in any way. But
because if you do gouge it, that gouge then becomes a part of the patterning.
That's right.
So
so we want to make sure people don't do that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, let me say this, we've had people ask us this, and this is a big do not do. When people damage their plate, they'll say, can I just cut it up and melt it and reform it? And I think that's because you can make your own plates, and people make their own plates, and they do that at home. And they melt it and then reform it. And the answer is absolutely no, you cannot do that. These plates are flammable. And
Okay.
if you get them near a flame, you could have some problems. So no, you do not want to cut them up and remelt them. And I don't think that you probably could at home, actually, but yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately, we don't have the equipment in homes to do that. But there's going to be somebody.
Put it in your microwave.
There's going to be somebody somewhere that's going to try that and find out that wasn't a good plan. Okay. Another thing I want to ask you is how flammable is it? Like, for example,
okay,
if you use a heat gun around your jelly plate, and you're using a heat gun that's 10, 12 inches away from it just to waft warm air over it.
That's fine.
Is it, I guess what I want to know is at what point can you put the plate in jeopardy? Like, I know it would make sense not to hold a heat gun right down on it or hold it in one spot, but how vulnerable is it?
Well, let me back up. They're super durable. And in terms of heat, I mean, the melting temperature is in the 300 degrees area. It's pretty darn hot. It's way up there. But I think if we're talking about a flame, you don't want it near a flame at all. Keep it away from any kind of flame.
Okay.
And I think that's the primary thing. A heat gun, well, yes, I would keep any heat materials a couple feet from the plate.
Yeah.
And we recommend using acrylic paints. And acrylic paints, they dry awfully fast. So, if you're doing layering, you might have to wait a minute or two for something to dry on the plate before you go over it. But with acrylic paints, you just need a little bit of patience. Yes.
Yeah. Patience is not always our strong suit, however. So, yeah. But it's probably safer to use, if you're wanting to use air, it's probably safer to use a hair dryer with a cooler setting or something like that.
Definitely.
If you're wanting to do that. And just keep the candles away. Don't light a candle when you're jelly plate printing. That would be a separate a separate thing to do. That kind of stuff. So keep open flames away from it. Okay, that's good.
Definitely.
So how are the plates supposed to be stored in a perfect world? How do you store them?
Well, this is what we do.
Okay.
We when we get the plate, we remove the mylar from both sides. And when you remove the mylar, I'll just say this, I would do it. Some of them are a little stickier than others. And so when you remove it, I would remove it slowly to make sure that you're clearing the edges. You pull it slowly and evenly and just, try to do it that way. If you don't want to, if some of them are a little sticky, you don't want to rip it too quickly. Yeah. You might end up damaging the plate. So once you get the mylar removed, and by the way, the mylar can be used for creating your own stencils or masks or whatever. So, you want to hold on to the mylar. But then after we're done using them, we cover them just with plain white copy paper. We have stacks of plates on our table that are just, there's a piece of copy paper in between each one. So that's how we store them. Okay. And you can put them then back in your clamshell. I guess that would be ideal. I'd cover them both sides with paper and put it back in the clamshell. Now, when you put the paper on, Barb, they should spread it, go over it with their hand and make sure there are no air bubbles trapped between the copy paper and the plate.
So those air bubbles, if they stay trapped on the surface of the plate, will show, right?
Yes, they're going to cause an indentation. Okay. And the gel plate is pretty malleable. It's going to conform to whatever surface it's lying upon, or if something's up against it. And so it will pick up some pressure if it's on top of another something on your desk or something. It'll pick up that indentation. But 99.9% of the time you can get it out. And the way that you get that out is you would take, if you had some air bubbles on your plate, you would take that side of the plate place it on a smooth, hard surface like a countertop, and then just let it sit. It'll settle out in about 24 hours, and you should be fine.
But honestly, I'm going to tell you, as many plates as I have and as much, and I've never put the paper on them because I'd always put the plastic or the Mylar back on, so I'm going to switch that. But as and I'll have bubbles, here and there on them. I'm going to tell you, as many times as I've had that has never messed with my printing for what I do. Now, I can see where some people might, if they want a very specific outcome. So it's really nice that there is a way for them to deal with that issue if that is an issue for them. But they do want to put it on something, if I'm understanding right, you don't want to put it on your wood dining table. You want to put it on like a Formica or a piece of
even glass or plexiglass or something.
Plexi is what I was trying to come up with. Just something that's smooth and flat and not something that you're going to ruin, like a wood table or something like that. It could cause you some problems. Okay.
And the reason is because the plates they contain mineral oil. And if you place them on a wood surface, that mineral oil can leach out. And so you don't want to do that. So you want to put it on a surface that you're not going to damage if it won't absorb any of the mineral oil. Yeah.
That's cool. And if I had like 3 or 4 plates like this, is it safe to just store them stacked like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't want to put you don't want to take like something heavy and put on top of those plates because you're going to, because they will pick up patterns and divots and that kind of thing. So, but I think it's really neat that you have a recovery option for, doing that. So that's really neat too. What about cleaning the plates? All right, do you clean the plates or do you not clean the plates? There's a big debate. Should we or should we not?
Well, I'll guess this. I don't clean the plates, but I would say Joan would clean the plates.
Okay, so we have both right there in your company.
And when I get many dirty plates, then I take them to the sink and I just run them under warm water. And with my hands, I just remove the paint. But if you're during a working session, you can use baby wipes. We use a lot of baby wipes at trade shows, etc., for cleaning the plate, and they work beautifully. Or you can just use the spritzer of water and a paper towel. Okay, that works great. Or you can use baby oil, and baby oil is gorgeous. When you clean the plate with baby oil, it's just beautifully clean.
And it
so there are a lot of different ways.
And it smells good too. That's great. So okay, so I think that's sort of all the sort of technical things that I could think of. If you think of some other things as we go along, you can certainly bring them up. What I want to know is what's new. We want the inside scoop. What's new?
Oh, thank you for asking. We have so many fun new things. It's so cool. And I'll start with the 2 new plates because it took us a while to do them because bigger is a little difficult. And of course, we want to have superior products with no defects. So we're not going to introduce something until we get it down. And at first, so the first one is the 9x12. And the 9x12 plate, I have it right here. It comes with a grid that you can put underneath the plate to help you with positioning if you're doing any kind of detail in your print.
And so it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so nice. Are you going to show the grid or would you like me to get it out and show it?
Oh, maybe. Do you want to? Is it right there?
Yeah.
Okay. You can get it out.
Okay. Okay. All right. You can keep talking. And why the 9x12? Why did you come up with this?
All right. So the 9x12. So we were playing with different sizes, and we thought the 9x12 was interesting because it was such a standard size, and it wasn't available in the marketplace. So then we made some, and we had some people play with them, and we played with them. There's our beautiful little grid. And the more we played with it, the more we fell in love with that plate, because we didn't realize it, but now we could get a bleed print on an 8.5 by 11 sheet.
And for those of us not in the printing industry, what does that mean?
Oh, that means that you get a print that goes to the very edge of an 8.5 by 11. And I have, well, here's an example. All right, this one's a little smudged, but you can print to the edge.
All the way to the edge, which is
nice.
All
the way to the edge. And once you start, this is what happened to us. Once you start printing to the edge, you're addicted to that, because no longer do you have to deal with that little white border, which frankly, the little white border can be gorgeous too, as you layer and it gets very full of texture. Mm-hmm. But this is just something totally different. And printing to the edge, well, all that I'll say is after I started printing on the 9 by 12, I kind of said, okay, 8 by 10, I'm going to put you aside for a while. I really like printing to the edge. So the 9 by 12 offers that in a compact plate. You know, it is what it is. You got the 9 by 12. Mm-hmm. But then for all these years, we've had artists asking us, how big can you go? How big can you go? We want bigger. We want bigger. And we're like, well, how big? How big? And so they would come, you know, bigger is better. But the truth is, making a really big plate is hard, and it's harder to make. It takes longer to make. It's just more difficult to get perfect. Mm-hmm. And so we worked on it for a couple of years, and finally we did it. So finally this year, here I'm going to grab it. We have, and it's in a big ugly cardboard box, but I just want to show you because the darn thing's so big.
Oh, wow.
So we now have, is that upside down?
There you go.
We now have a 16 by 20, which it's pretty heavy. Mm-hmm. It weighs maybe 4.5 pounds. Mm-hmm. And it's really exciting. I mean, when you put this thing on your desk and you start working, you're going, oh my God. And so what it did for us is, you can see some big things behind me. Mm-hmm. We started doing wrapping paper with this big size, and it's great for printing on fabric, if you like to print on fabric. And so it opens up a lot of new ideas and creations that we didn't have before. So the 16 by 20, people are loving it, and it's just we just started selling it in February. So we're super excited about it.
I can hardly wait to get that because of the fabric, because I love printing on fabric. But that whole concept of wrapping paper that's really a good idea. One of the things that we used to, this was years ago when I worked in a sewing machine store, one of the things that we used to use back then for doing inexpensive patterns, you know, designing our own patterns, mm-hmm. was we would get exam table, a roll of paper that went on an exam table, like from a doctor's office, mm-hmm. and because it's not real wide, but it's a continuous long roll. I'm just mm-hmm. thinking off the top of my head. It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to get my hands on a roll of that, because that's going to be like an endless supply of wrapping paper. You know, that just sounds like so much fun.
Well, you showed me just in your intro today. Mm-hmm. that the tape that you were making with your scraps of prints. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I can't wait to do that.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
I just pulled it off and taped it on something else that was, you know, like a junk print. And it's like, when I did that, I'm like, oh, this has got possibilities. You know.
Oh, wait a minute. When you say junk print, you did it on your journal, and those prints were beautiful. Oh no,
I was talking about the extra thing that I had. No, in my journals, those I love. Those were the deli paper, kind of leftover prints and things that I collaged in as a background. And there is nothing like those lightweight papers, which brings me to another thing that I know that I can't wait to get my hands on, that you all have. And that is, tell them about the paper that you have.
So we buy parchment paper in bulk. We repackage it, and we sell it in packs of 50. And it is parchment paper.
But the size is unique, right?
Right. The size is, and I didn't bring it in here with me. It's 12 by 16.
Yeah, I think that's what your website said. It was 12 by 16, which is...
And they're big sheets, and they're fabulous to print on. So and they're perfect for collage. If you go and check out any of our YouTube videos, Marsh has done some fabulous projects with the parchment paper, and it's just it's a very fun paper that you can do so many things
and
with.
It's plain, correct? It's just a plain,
it's
totally
a plain
translucent plain, where the parchment paper that I have in my studio that I honestly had never printed on it. The parchment paper I have in my studio I've always used as a protective paper, so that was new to me to even think about that. But what I'm able to get now has a grid printed on it, and so I can see where that would be really nice. I mean, there's probably use for both, but I could see where it would be really nice to have the plain surface, non-printed. So I think that's cool. And the size, here's the other thing. You've got it in sheets. So you can take out a sheet and the sheet's going to be flat, right? So you're not fighting the curl of it being rolled on a roll. So, that would be my my other thing of like, oh yeah, see, I've got a list going now. Thanks a lot, Luann.
We'll get you some things. We'll fill out your portfolio of jelly products.
Thanks for all that, for all this list that we now, everybody in the chat now has a whole list, but that's what's fun. That's fun. Dreaming and making lists cost nothing, and then you can prioritize and you can decide what you want to have. So, okay, so we have a whole bunch of different sizes and shapes of plates. The two new plates, which are the 9 by 12 and the 16 by 20, which, by the way, let me just put this out here for the world. Luann is not paying me to do this. I'm doing this because I love Gelli Plates. I love Gelli Arts. That's why Luann's on here with me. It's not because she's paying me to do this, okay? I just want to put that out there because I sound like a fangirl. That's because I am. Okay, that's because I am. Okay, so we've talked about the plates and the different sizes and shapes, and I showed the book earlier, which there's a link to the book in the description box below the video, and you can get that from Amazon. That was the best place to get the book, right? Was Amazon? Isn't that what we said?
You can also get it at Barnes & Noble. But,
okay. Yep. Okay. Now, I'm not familiar with the paints that Gelli Arts has, so there's like 2 sets. I mean, this comes from me, stalking the website. You have 2 sets of colors. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the reason we have paint is because the first question we got over and over and over all these years was, which paint should we use?
Yep.
And so our response was, you could use any acrylic paint. Any. They all work, and we know they all work a little differently, but they all work. And so use whatever acrylic paint you have. And by the way, when Joan and I were developing the gel printing plate, we wanted it to work with acrylic paint. And we wanted it that way because we thought a lot of people have little bottles of acrylic paint at home, and they wouldn't have to go buy expensive printing inks. And using acrylic paint, you could get a great print. So when we were telling everybody all the different paints that they could use, we played with a lot, and we gave them all our favorites. And then one day we said, well, what the heck? Why don't we create a paint that we love? And then we can tell people you can use whatever paint you want, but we also now have our Gelli plates or paints. So that's what we did.
And so how big are the bottles that you have? Are they 2-ounce bottles?
Yes, these are 2-ounce bottles. And we have 2 sets. These are classic colors. And then we have the bright set.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to make this bigger so they can really see them. Can you hold them up just a little bit higher?
Yep.
There you go. Okay, so those are the 2 sets. So we have the classic set, and what was the other set called?
We call it bright.
Bright. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. And so they're 2-ounce bottles of paint. And and I didn't count. Were there 6 in a set? Is that what it is? Okay.
6.
And I'm assuming, again, I haven't worked with it yet, but I'm assuming it's a good fluid paint.
It's a medium-bodied paint.
Okay. And are they mixable with each other?
Yes.
Like if you wanted a tone in between the two blues, you can mix the blues together, and if you want it lighter, you can mix some white into it, so you can mix them and get good colors that way.
Yes. All right. Do you want to see some pretty colors?
Absolutely.
So, okay. So here are some colors that we did earlier today from just mixing the paint.
Oh, these are mixes. Oh.
These are all mixes. The colors themselves, the basic colors, are just so gorgeous. But these are just mixes.
Oh, those are nice. Those are nice. Oh, yes. Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, when you mix them, are you mixing them on a palette to start with and then using a brayer to put them on a plate, or are you mixing them straight on the plate?
Straight on the plate.
Okay. Oh, that's even nice. That's nicer. You don't even have to mix them off to the side.
Well, you probably should.
Oh.
We were trying to show you some of the prettier colors that we, so we were just doing it quickly on the plate.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool, though. It looks like you got really even color. So that's nice. And let's see, what else do I want to know about the paint? Is it a standard drying time like any other acrylic paint, or is it a slower drying, or?
All right, so that's the perfect question. Thank you for asking.
Sure.
The paints have an extender, so they do stay open a little bit longer than a traditional craft paint.
Okay.
Which is great because it gives you a little more time to create your designs and create more texture. But the good news is it dries then quickly. So it doesn't stay open forever, right? It dries pretty quickly, but you do get a little more time to create your design.
Does it dry with a flat finish or semi satin, or how would you describe how it dries down?
I think it's a flat finish.
Flat. Okay. Cool. Have you tried writing over the paint with pens or paint pens or any of that kind of stuff? I'm just curious how it. I know I put you on the spot because I didn't ask you that.
No, I'll try. Here. Okay, here, I'll show you. Oh, that's interesting. This is with a ballpoint pen.
Okay.
I just wrote my name. Do you see it?
Here, yeah, let me show it really nice and big so everybody can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Well, it looks like it wrote over it just fine.
It did.
So if people want to use these in print directly in a journal and then do writing in the journal, which is always the bane of every art journaler's existence, that's got that's a real plus too. That's cool. Very cool.
So here's another print I just wrote on. It writes beautifully.
Cool. Let me show it. Okay, hold it up one more time. Oh, there, I see it's the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great print too. That's great.
I love these prints.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so we've got paint. We have plates. I know that you have kits too, right? And
we do.
I saw some of those when I was at Creativation, which was really fun. When we were in Creativation, Race and I were there, and I was getting to talk to Tracy Weinzapfel, who I'll talk about again a little bit in a minute, and then Linda Brunn. So we watched both of them printing on the plates and so forth. And then behind, it was the day that Tracy was demonstrating. She had all of on the wire cubes behind her were all of these pretty boxes and all these neat samples and stuff. And so I said, all right, I want to know what's in those boxes back there. So she told me a little bit about that. So tell the folks what those kits are all about.
Okay, here, let me grab two of them.
Oh, and also there was a question, do you have any metallic paints?
No.
No, okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
But I love metallic paint, so
me too.
I'm hoping that we have them.
Oh, and here one of the viewers said she bought her granddaughter's kits for Christmas and they loved them.
Oh,
so that's neat.
Great! Ask her how old. How old are they?
Yeah. How old are those kids, Marion? She'll answer here in a minute. There's a lag in the chat, so go ahead.
All right, so here's the, one of the kits, and all the kits are packaged. They're all similar to this, and they're different colors, and they're beautiful colors. And you can see they're all packed. All the materials are packed in a reusable storage container. Mm-hmm. And so this one is for card printing. So every kit has a Gelli plate, a roller, 3 bottles of paint, some fun things to create textures like punchinella and yarn and a comb. And then they have parchment paper and instructions. Mm. And we also have YouTube videos that support each one. So you can go online and you can check out our videos and watch different ways to make different ideas for card making.
And Marion said her granddaughters were 13 and 14.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
and here's another viewer that said that Debbie Boring says her granddaughters are 4, 8, 9, and 12, and they do amazing prints with the plates. So
really,
yeah, so that's cool. Okay, so tell us about the different kits, because I know there's one for card making and there's one for fabric, right?
Oh, there are 2 for fabric. So this one's stamping. So you can, it has foam inserts that you can draw your own stamps and make your own stamps, and then print with them. And then we have 2, but I'm going to have to go get them. But I'll show you. One is for making patches. And this is a pair of jeans that Joan made many years ago. And we share it at our all the trade shows. And you can see these beautiful patches. And when people see these at the trade shows, I can't tell you how many times people have asked to buy these jeans. Yeah. And so the idea of creating your own patches is really fun. So we have a patch printing kit.
And in the patch printing kit, it comes with pre-cut fabric, is that?
It does. Okay. Fun squares of pre-cut fabric, along with iron-on tape. Oh, so you can go ahead and create your prints, and then you can iron them on a backpack, a pair of jeans, your jean jacket, whatever. So we have the patch.
I can even see that as doing the fabric pieces and then just putting those right into a journal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's some other idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the patch, and then we have the quilt squares. So, all right, the truth is I'm a sewer at heart. I do a lot of sewing, and I love to quilt. And I'm a beginner quilter, I would call myself, but I love to quilt. And so we have a quilting kit. And in that kit, there's 12 patches of white cotton fabric that you can print on, along with fabric medium, so that you can mix it with the acrylic paint, so that you can then wash it. And the fabric medium's also in the patch printing kit. So,
and do you, when you use the medium with the paints, are you having to mix that separately and then put it on the plate, or can you put them together on the plate and brayer them on together? Will it work that way?
Do you? Yeah, it works that way.
Okay, cool.
It's pretty simple.
That's cool. Okay, so we have cards, we have stamps, we have 2 fabric kits. Did I miss any other ones?
Yeah, so we have 2 others. We have a feather printing kit, so printing on feathers.
Okay.
And then we have a paper quilt. So it has squares of cardstock, and then you can print on cardstock and create your own little mosaic or your own little patch.
And then you can take those to the sewing machine and you can sew them together with beautiful stitching on, because I do that all the time, put things together with the decorative stitches in the sewing machine. So yeah, print your own paper and then sew it into a quilt using decorative stitch. Oh yeah, you know,
that's great.
See, this is what happens when I start bouncing ideas with someone else. It's like, oh, and you could do this and this and this, and I become the magpie. It's like, I want to do that, but I can't do that because I got to do that. You know, got to be a grown up sometimes.
Right.
So okay, that's great. So I think those are really great. I think those are the kits. To me, sound like a fun way for people to figure out what they like a reasonable way to dip their toe in the water and see, do they like this thing called Gelli Plate Printing? And then also, I think this thing of using it with your kids or your grandkids as a together kind of project. We don't do enough of that. And I just think that's such a great, my granddaughter is 26, and I'm telling you, if she lived here with me, we would be doing that with those kids, you know, and she's 26 and has her own career and stuff. So, you know, we would be doing that. So I think it crosses so many ages. In fact, I think it's a great thing to do with elderly people too, because it's not a lot of, you don't have a lot of, it's the same thing, old or elderly. You have the dexterity issue sometimes that that you don't have to have with this art form, but yet you can still have produce something that's really pretty and fun. So yeah. Okay.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
One of the first cases of full product that we ever sold was to a gentleman who was doing a workshop at a senior center not far from my home in New Jersey. So he came and he bought the case. He did the workshop that night, and the next day he emailed me, and he was beyond excited that these seniors, they had so much fun. And then he had brought little paper front picture frames so that when they created a print, they could just slide it right into the picture frame.
What a great idea.
Like they had created their own art. And he said it was just huge success.
Oh, that's such a good idea. That is such a good idea. I you know, things like that just make you feel all warm and grateful. And
it does me.
It does, yeah. Okay, I did have one of the viewers asked a question about the paint and wanted to know if water soluble was the only paint to use on the plate, or could you use other things like oil paints and alcohol-based paints or alcohol-based inks or whatever. Can you use other things other than water-based?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And the only watch out about the oil paint is that some of the paints can stain the plate.
Yeah.
And so some people might get upset if their plate is stained, but it will still print fine.
Yeah.
But yes, you can use all of those.
Yeah, and if the paint, I mean, I have one of my plates is pretty stained, and all I've ever used is water-based paint on it. But the only thing that I think it does with the plate becomes a little stained is you might not see the accuracy of the color when you're putting it down, you know, as when you pull it off. But then again, you know, you're not going to see it totally accurate on the plate anyway. So just go for it and have fun and relax, people. Relax and just enjoy.
Yeah, but let me give you a tip. If you really want to get rid of it, you can use baby oil. And you can, with a little elbow grease, put a lot of baby oil on the plate and just rub it with a paper towel, and you'll pull out the stains in the plate. Oh,
good tip. Good tip. I know one other thing I wanted to ask you about were the texture tools that, again, I have not played with those yet, but I've looked at them. And what are those? What are they made of? And how are people using them? Are they just having fun and playing with them? And you know, so okay.
Okay, so we have a set of 3 little, and they're made of rubber tools. They're flexible, and let me see if I can here. I'll show you. They're flexible, and each tool has 3 unique edges on it.
Okay.
So you have a total of 9 unique edges
in the one set, right?
In the one set.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks. And so here they are, and so you can see them, right?
Yeah.
They're tiny. They're about 2 inches by 3 inches. And people use them, of course, just to make the design lines.
Can you hold them up again, just so I can, so they can see them nice and big? There you go. Yeah. Oh, those are some nice patterns, but they're soft, right?
They are soft. So look at this. You can flex them, right?
Yeah.
And we've had people show us some designs that they've done with them in a circle, right? And then just doing all kinds of fun things with them.
Oh, that's good.
You can, yes, they're very flexible and they're not going to crack, and they're very durable, and you know, lots of different ways to use them.
That's cool. That's cool. I love that. And so then you can draw through the paint. You can just, it's kind of like, you can put them on the plate and spin them. You know, you can do semicircles or whatever. I mean, it's just like, what can you think of? Well, you can probably do it. Yeah. And you could use them in combination. So you could have one design going one way and another edge going a different direction. I mean, you could just do some cool things with those. So I'm just looking at my list to see if I had anything else on here. I know you have some stencils. You don't have a big variety of stencils yet, but I have a feeling that...
yeah, so we have 3 stencils, and I don't have them here. I could run and get them, but one is a flower stencil, one's ladder. It's a ladder design, and the other is a bead design. All that were really just, we were inspired by different tools that we loved. Like, we had this piece of wallpaper that was a raised floral design, and we printed with that thing for years and years, and it was so beautiful. And we then took that design and sort of, you know, did a flower stencil similar to that. And so we have 3 designs, and it's more for convenience for people. So they don't have to go to another website and do it. But there are so many fabulous websites out there that do the most amazing stencils, and we share those with people all the time because they're amazing.
Stencils are not in short supply. And, and if you ever buy a stencil and use it on a Gelli plate, you are hooked, and you will then have to amass a collection. You will then have to have a collection. Okay. Oh, one other thing. I know something else I want to talk about, and then anything that you want to bring up too, just say. I want to tell you about this. I wanted to talk about your team of artists, because I know that we have the ones that I'm aware of are Marcia and Birgit, and they're both in the Netherlands, right? They're
they are.
And and they do a lot of your videos. Am I correct about that?
Yes, they do.
And then there's Tracy Weinzapfel, who is she's kind of new to the team, right? She is. And so go ahead.
A few months ago, we decided, well, we've been thinking about this for a long time, but we never really got to it. But we've had so many fabulous partners out there all over the world. And we thought, what the heck, we should just do it and try to create a team and share the Gelli love even more around the world.
Oh, I love that. So, share the Gelli love. That's cool. I got to write that down. Go ahead.
And so a couple months ago, we've known Tracy for years. We see her, we've met her at a lot of trade shows, and she's fabulous, and we loved her art, and she's just been a great partner for years. And so we asked her if she could help us organize and pull together a design team. And she's done an amazing job. She put the call out, had so many people respond. It was fabulous. And it was really hard to pick. We were going to start with maybe 4 or 5 artists, but we couldn't do it. So we ended up, I think we have a dozen. And we just shipped them all a bunch of product in this past week. And we can't wait for them to get started.
And Tracy is the one who is going to be like managing or navigating, connecting with all of those people, right?
She's our design team. We have I think we call her the design team coordinator or something. But she's in charge of all of that. And it's super exciting. I mean, the people that are on the team that we're all just getting to know one another, their work is incredible, and I can't wait to see what they do with our Gelli plates.
And then you guys do a blog. You have a blog that you put posts on pretty regularly, I believe, and then also a YouTube channel that you post videos on pretty regularly, correct?
Yes. So basically, Marcia and Birgit do a video and a blog once a month. So every month we're adding 2 videos and 2 blogs, and we try to focus on printing techniques, and so that's what we're trying to get out there for just inspiration for printers and printmaking. And so Birgit and Marcia have been doing it for a couple of years now, and they're incredible partners. We love them, and
They do some beautiful. They do some beautiful things.
Oh my God!
And Tracy is delightful. She is
oh my God,
a
we love
delightful
Tracy
person.
too. Yep.
Yeah, delightful person. And then one of the other gals that I met when we were at Creativation was Linda Brunn, and she's also in Europe, I believe, isn't she?
She's in Norway.
Yeah. And so she does some really nice things with the plates. And there's I've written a couple of blog posts on how to get creative about using the Gelli plates. One of them was about Creativation 2018. That's linked in the description box below the video. So, and I did put some of the different shots from the booth there and stuff, which was really neat, and got to see, give people a taste of what it was like at Creativation. And then there's also another post that I did after we did the 9x12 plates. So you guys have lots and lots of blog inspiration, a couple on mine, a ton on the Gelli Arts blog, and then lots of inspiration and techniques to learn on the YouTube channel from Gelli Arts too.
And let me just say this. We love to hear from everybody. And so if you guys have any questions, you should just go to our website and email us. Just go to the contact us. We read them. I read them every day.
Okay.
And if you have any questions or any thoughts you want to share, please send them our way. We love to hear from everybody.
Okay. So that's what I'm going to say to everybody in the live chat. It would be great if you had specific technical questions or whatever, just to handle it that way. That'd be great. Okay. I don't see anything else on my list. Do you have any other things you want to share with anybody? Or
I don't know. I don't think so. You covered everything. It was amazing.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good, excellent. Well, I try to figure out, kind of what's going on here, but that doesn't mean I get it all. So thank you.
Today you might have.
Yeah, might have. Thank you so much for joining us. And anybody that has, additional questions, I'm just going to let them go to the website and fill out the contact form and ask you directly, because that way they'll get the question answered the way they need it. And I just want to say thank you so much for sticking to the dream that you and Joan had for this product that you started out playing around in with a big sheet of Jello, and you took it from that into the what if and into the production. We've produced enough things here in my world that I know some of what goes into that, and so I appreciate the fact that you brought this product into the world, because I love it, and I'm so grateful to have it in my arsenal of creative tools. And so thank you so much for sticking to it and making sure that happened. That dream became a reality for all of us. So, and then convincing all of us that we needed it.
We're working on that.
Because if you hadn't convinced me that I needed it, I wouldn't own a stack of Gelli plates. So anyway,
thank you for that.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, thank you so much. And
You're welcome. Thank you.
So we are going to let you go. And if you have anything else that you need to get in touch with me about, you know where I am.
Okay,
so
thank you so much.
Thanks a bunch, and we appreciate it. And the best of everything to the team at Gelli Arts. So,
thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks a bunch.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on here a minute, guys. I hit the wrong thing. Here we go. Okay. And we're back. I'm telling you, I'm usually good with the technology on one end or the other of those creative chats, but I never get it right on both. So, we are going to get the sponsors, and we're going to wrap up for today. And then I'm planning tentatively to come back in maybe a couple of weeks, and we'll do some sort of art stream together. So let's get the sponsors out, and if they want to come out. Chance usually is, I was just starting to say, Chance is barking at the door, but you know what I mean. That would be a silly thing to say. Okay, let me get sponsors. We'll wrap it up, and then I am just so grateful you guys were here. Thanks for all of your great questions and comments and everything in the chat. So, all right, sponsor time. Come here, you. Yeah, here he is. Are you gonna pose for the people as usual? Charlie, are you coming up today? Are you coming up today too? All right, come on. All right. Okay, we have sponsors today, complete with the monitor in the background. Here we go. That's Charlie. This is Charlie. This is Chance. They are the sponsors of the show. And I got in all kinds of trouble the last time I streamed because I forgot to bring them out. The truth was I was just too tired. Yeah, you like this? Look. They are very close friends, these two. The truth was, the last time I streamed, which was when I was doing the 9x12 Gelli plate, I was just too tired to get them out. That's the truth. And I had too big a mess around here, so they just didn't get to come out and play the last time. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone for being with us today, and I hope that that was fun for you. It was great for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful and creative weekend, and I'll probably see you in a couple of weeks, but I'll let you know. Follow me on, if you follow us on social media, we always put that information out there ahead of time so you know whether we're going to stream or not. Okay. And that's it. And, I have a podcast coming up here. I'll probably put it up the first of the week. I have a podcast about how to get creative ever even got started. So it's not too long. It's not real short, but it's not too long either. So if you've been curious about that, that'll be going up sometime next week here on YouTube. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you again soon. The sponsors say... Are you going to say anything? He just keeps trying to rub his head on the camera. Yeah, he's rubbing his head on the camera. Okay. My voice is about giving out, and so I will see you guys soon. So remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. And I will see you again before you know it. Bye, everybody.